HDRIs are basically like 360 perspectives of an environment that someone captured. It's a great way to try out lighting in your scene without having to use individual lights or procedurally build a scene in terms of lighting. Especially in the beginning stages of working your scene, HDRIs can be a time saver and give you a solid foundation to work off of in terms of like mood and style and what you're going to be going for inevitably. Just like I mentioned in the last video I posted about blockouts, it's important to try to get down something broad as soon as possible so that you can quickly get a solid picture of what you're moving towards. HDRIs are kind of like, I like to imagine HDRIs are like if a wizard condemned like an atmosphere to like a little snow globe.
You ever had a dream that you
put it out
you had
on
you could
Polyhaven for the Blender people out there to use. Basically, it's like an entire environment that's condensed into a big picture that you can throw up as your background in Blender so that your objects have something they can reflect from. There's color information that it'll be pulling from the uploaded HDRI. I can go in depth about color and light, but obviously color is just what we're seeing with our naked eye is just reflections, right? Reflections of light. So if you're going to put an object in a scene, it's not going to look like it's inside or outside or night or day until you give it something to, y'all know how colors and light works, but HDRIs are really, really great at like giving enough information to really like get the nuances of light and the mood that you're going for without with minimal thought, like just to again throw it in. Sometimes I don't stick with like having the HDRI in my scene, but it's a really good starting point, and you can always try to match the color, match the lighting that you bring in later with the HDRI, but it really kind of gives you a way to get those nuances in that you can kind of sometimes forget about if you're just trying to light your scene with just like lamps and with just like those physical lights you bring in. Now, if you're a beginner, this is a great video to watch because I'm going to quickly go through some of the best resources for HDRIs and how you can bring them into your scene. Say this is my scene, right? We're going to head on over to the properties editor, just right here. This is our little our world properties. All of these options, we're going to go to the little yellow dot, color, give that a click, and then we're going to come all the way over to texture, and we're going to hit on environment texture, right? So now it's prompting us to put something here. Now, if I just search HDRIs, all of this comes up, right? We're going to go to Polyhaven for now, because I do want to talk about them a little bit, especially their add-on. But they have a bunch of different options for HDRIs. This is what they look like. They kind of look like panoramic or like 360 views of these different environments. I'm gonna just pick this one. Very nice. Yeah. So then over here, you can see it says 4K. There's usually, there's a drop down here. So if you're not looking for 4K, you can pick 2K. Now there's benefits, obviously. There's benefits to less resolution. And if you're new to Blender, you're gonna very quickly get used to this concept. But like, obviously the less resolution, the less likely you are to have crashes. It's not gonna bog down your computer as much. So I'm gonna stick with 4K because I'm not bringing it into any heavy scene, but just keep that in mind. If you're ever looking to cut down on render time, or if you're having troubles, it's like this is the kind of thing that you could kind of try to adjust. Obviously this won't alone probably be the difference, but if you have a bunch of different textures that could be 2K but they're 4K or they're 8K or whatever, it's gonna bog down your computer. So it's always good to keep in mind earlier on in your like Blender like scene the resolution you're bringing in. Also, always take a look at the licensing. Some of them are, so this one is used for any purpose, including commercial. Sometimes they're different. So sometimes you do need to give credit to the photographer, but just like with everything that you're gonna find online, just make sure you're taking a look at the licensing. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna download this. Okay, so now I'm very aware that obviously I have an HDRI on my desktop. So we're going to go to open here. We're going to come over to my desktop, and then here it is right here. Open image. Okay, we're not seeing anything. Why aren't we seeing anything? It's because we're not in the correct viewport. So I'm in the shader editor right now. So this is for modeling, and it's always going to be like this. We're not going to be able to see any materials, anything we put in the sky. So we're going to, and if we go over to, this is at the material shader, also still nothing. We want to go over to the render viewport to see the HDRI. This is also helpful to know if you ever have an add-on or you choose to invest in an add-on that has to do with like the background. Like for example, I have the atmosphere, I believe it's called atmosphere, real atmosphere, which I do use a lot. You can't see it in this viewport. And I believe you actually can't see it in Eevee either. You have to go to cycles. So if you're ever having trouble with stuff like that, first of all, always read up on the stuff that you're downloading, like if it is an add-on, because sometimes they only work in cycles or they only work in Eevee. Normally it's that they only work in cycles, but this took a while to get used to. Is like you do have to be in the render viewport to see certain stuff. So keep that in mind. So yeah, now we have this all loaded in, which is awesome. I'm still in Eevee though, so it's not going to look as good. So I'm going to head over to cycles here. Yeah, I mean, not too much of a difference, but I prefer cycles. So I'm going to press 0 on my numpad to look through my camera here. Just super simple. Yeah, so that's one way that you can import HDRIs. The second way that you can import HDRIs is through the shader editor. So we're going to go here. I just clicked on our little option here and then down to shader editor. And then this is what pops up immediately. So this is actually for our object. So if you try to do anything here, it's gonna mess with this object because that's the only object in the scene and that's what's selected right now. So if I wanted it to turn a different color, we're not, this isn't the video about this, but if you're new to Blender, it's helpful to know you can do that here. We're going to go over to Object in the corner here, and then we're going to jump down to World as the shader type. And here we have our node setup. This is the setup that we actually made over here in our World Properties Editor. So it's weird. It's a little foreign at first if you haven't dealt with it before, but this is actually most of the time where I do most of my work when it comes to materials and objects and the world kind of. I do the world stuff over here because I'm not editing the world too much. I'm usually just editing the materials. Anyways, this does offer a lot of control though that you can't really get as much here, which is why people usually like it. So the next thing we're going to do, and it's really good practice, is if you don't have this add-on, you should get it. It's free. It's an extension, I believe, actually. It comes with like Blender. It's an option to turn on, is the Node Wrangler. I'm sure if you've watched enough tutorials by now, you've probably heard someone mention it. It just makes life easier. Go do it. It's very simple. It just makes life easier. But I can show you here. I just went on to add-ons and I searched up Node and it came up, and this will come up. Even if you haven't installed anything, this will come up if you go over to add-ons. So yeah, install that. It's directly built in it's built into Blender, I'm pretty sure. It should come up. I'm pretty sure it comes up. If it doesn't come up here, then go to Blender, the Blender website, and it should, and if you look up Node Wrangler, it'll be very easy, just like drop the add-on into your scene and you'll be able to turn it on. So, and then remember to, remember to save your preferences. Okay. By the way, if you want this pop-up in any pop-ups in any viewport, you press N. All right, so the thing that the Node Wrangler does is if I click on this little thing here and I press Control T, this happens. It's just about kind of the orientation of everything here. It's good to do with textures and also with HDRIs and stuff. It's just added controls basically, but I think it also does have like, if you need to fix something later down the line, it's just easier to have this available. But I'm gonna move something just to show you what I mean. It's gonna do that. And then and then if you wanted to do everything at once, you just click and then drag down, and then I'm gonna make it 0, keep it there. I can get in a little bit more about these two in another video if that's something that would be of interest. But yeah, always have these there. Have your node wrangler on. It just makes life easier. So Srival next. So the your background has a strength. You're allowed to mess with it. I don't really mess with it. I like to keep it where it's at, but it's a good option to have, good thing to have. All right, the next way to get an HDR, oh my gosh. The next way to get an HDR, why does that sound like it's not correct? What's that word when something starts to lose meaning? The word starts to lose meaning? When, I'm looking it up on my other computer. Word starts to lose meaning. HDRIs are repeated meaningless sounds. I said it right though. I wasn't thinking that hard about it and I said it right, so that's good. Okay, back to it. Okay, so the next way that you can do it is through add-ons. I have my Blender Kit add-on turned on here, so you can see this is kind of weird. There might be some add-ons you see, by the way, here and there, and maybe it looks different. Like if your screen looks different than mine, and it looks like there's like random little gadgets, it's because they're add-ons that I didn't turn off. So don't worry, like you didn't do anything wrong. Nothing's wrong. Don't you worry. So what am I doing? Okay, so this is one add-on that you can use to import HDRIs very easily. So I'm just going to turn it on and give an example. So they have all kinds of HDRIs here. Some of them are paid. You can see that there's a little lock on them. They're like, no, not that one. This one's not paid. This one's not paid. So let's just see this one. That's kind of cool. Okay, I'm going to press OK. And it should, let's just give it a second. It's downloading. Wait, is this an HDRI or is this a scene? Reading comprehension. That's this, we did the wrong thing. This is bringing me a whole ass scene. So I'm going to delete that. Okay. Whoops. Now, whoa. These are HDRIs. Okay, actually a lot of them are paid here, but some of them are not. And you can actually filter free first. There we go. These are weird. Look at that. Okay, say you want this really creepy back room. Okay, I'm gonna do, oh, and it even gives you the options for resolution. That's awesome. So I'm gonna stick with 2048 and we're gonna import that. And then remember, nothing's coming up. Why? It's because I'm still in this viewport, the shading viewport. We're gonna hop over here, still nothing. Hop over here. Whoa. This is really freaky actually. So now we have this like little room that's so cool, and the lighting is gonna be great. So if I import anything, let's bring in a cube. Whoa, why is it so far away? I'm just I'm clicking Z, by the way, or Z, to have this pop-up come up. It's just a fast way of changing the viewport. So we're gonna go to rendered. Why is it so far away? Just remember this, like you can see, this isn't a physical room. This is literally just the background. So it doesn't matter where you go. You're not gonna get closer to the walls or anything like that. But it is super helpful if you want to like get the general essence of something. So like, I wanna give an example of like, if I were to, I'm gonna go to the shader editor. If I were to make this glass. Oh, nope. Oh my God. Why? There we go. If I were to make this glass Oh my god! Keep on pressing the wrong button. Basically, that's half of what you will be doing in Blender. What was I doing again? Glass. Okay, maybe that was a bad example, but you can see it's like reacting to the room. And if you were to take a camera, which I don't have a camera in my scene. Oh, did it? Well, okay, whatever. You would see the scene behind me. So just keep that in mind. I think there's a way you can turn that off, but I'm just doing the very light review before I get into that stuff. Yeah, so that's one way. Another add-on that I really like, and this was probably, I think this was the first add-on I ever bought, was the Polyhaven add-on. Super great. Highly recommend. It just has these HDRI models here. There's even a little tab for them so you can sort, and you just drag them into your scene. Boom. And so you can try all these different add-ons as fast as you want. And yeah, very nice. I don't believe they have like different, you can't sort by the resolution, unfortunately. So they're all kind of not great resolution, but that's okay because usually we're just using this to model. Like, I mean, the chances of you actually using your HDRI, it depends on how you work, but like for me, I'm not really using the HDRI more than anything. It's just to model. It's like to have a reference, have somewhere to work off of, right? Okay, so that's the other add-on that's really great. Yeah, so that's a little bit about HDRIs. It's pretty straightforward, but I know it can all be very overwhelming when you first get started with this stuff. Yeah, one of the best things that you can do early on, though, if you're finding this, if this was a hard concept to grasp, this is something I wish that I had been told earlier. The best thing you can do with your time is to figure out how to manage files. File management. That is an awesome thing that you can learn, and it'll make your life so much easier. And it's half of what we're doing here. We're just bringing in files and exporting files, and it's like, if you don't understand the basic concept of downloading something and bringing it into your scene, you're going to have a lot of trouble like just understanding how things work, like the fundamentals. And as someone who came from a traditional art background where I was painting and drawing, and I barely use, like, I didn't do computer art. That's like just, I thought that was like coding. Like, I did not understand it. I get it can be like very weird, like just in general using your computer, and just make sure you, like, maybe it's not for everyone, maybe that's not the case for everyone, but for me it sure was. Like, I literally was looking up like file management when I first started, just trying to learn like Blender, just because I was so confused about like literally like how do files file, you know this. So yeah, I'm gonna stop saying like so much, hopefully soon. It's really easy. I'm gonna start saying instead, I guess. Oh, I'm caught in a cycle. I'm caught in a loop. It's fine. Thank you so much for watching. If you've stayed till the end, I really appreciate it. This is a super new channel, so bear with me. I just got a microphone though. Like, I found it finally. So hopefully my audio is going to be better than the last video I posted, like going forward. Also, I discovered Canva, which is really cool because I can do like fun little transitions and hopefully make my videos a little more fun. Yeah. Subscribe if you feel like it. And so yeah, it's pretty straightforward, and it's a whoa.